This is Sunday, September the 17th, 2023, 7 p.m. This is Taco Talk number 9 live, prepping for SHTF. Two in the house, the Bud Files, Zam Daily Routine, and KP Heathen. Good evening. Thank you for coming in. Good evening, people. Two in the house, one like, somebody left. Good morning, my all sweet YT family. Alright, that person's on the other side of the world. Good morning, my dear sir. Yes, doesn't sound like American. Thank you for coming. Hello, Bud Files. And greetings from Louisiana. KP Heathen, good evening. Want to let a few more people come in. Hopefully, we'll get a pretty good crowd in here. Pakistan. Well, God bless the folks over in Pakistan. There's a couple of 100 million of you. Jorax, thank you for coming in. And Hillbilly Josh Loftus, thank you for coming in. Appreciate the second like, Hillbilly. I have been trying to visit with folks about YouTube courtesy. First thing you do when you come in addition to saying hello, is you leave a like. I appreciate you doing that, Hillbilly Josh. Four in the house, 2 likes. How am I? I'm tired. I gotta go to work tomorrow. It'll be a busy week this next week, and I'm tired. I came out of retirement, and I went back to work in education. I'm teaching now. I used to be a principal, and being a teacher will allow me a lot more free time than I had as an administrator. As a teacher, I will go home about 4:30 in the afternoon, whereas as an administrator, I would go home at 6:30 or 7, and then a couple of nights a week when they had games, I would be at school till like 10 o'clock. Sometimes I'd have to go to work on Saturday mornings. But as a teacher, when I leave, and I will leave probably 30-40 minutes after school gets out. I come in about 7:15, 7:20 in the morning. School starts at 8:30, gives me about an hour or so to get ready. Die Bullfrog 79, Uncle Al, thank you for coming in, Uncle Al. 5 in the house. I was watching a video that Wayne, the ungrateful peasant, dropped, and he was talking about his shotgun. He was talking about self-defense, he was talking about, and my sweet sir, good morning, good evening, good evening. It's 7 p.m., a little after 7 p.m. here, Central Standard Time in Texas. Your neck of the woods, It's about 8 o'clock in the morning. We're about 13 hours difference. You're 13 hours ahead of me. So it's Monday morning where you're at, and I'm Sunday evening, a little after 7 p.m. So, the topic of prepping for SHTF. I've watched a lot of videos about people, they go and they do their shopping or they order stuff and they get it in, and you can say that they're prepping. You know, I went to the store today, and among some of the things that I purchased at Aldi's, I purchased some gallons. I purchased 6 individual gallons of bottled water, which are basically replacements for water that we use. I purchased a 24-pack case that I left in my car, which will go to my class at school. And I purchased some other things, you know, that I use and that I eat. Got some toaster pastries, dog treats, some cereal, potato chips, you know. And I could say these are preps, you know. But when I really think of preps, I'm thinking of stuff that's like long term, that I'm building up for SHTF. The only thing I would say that I purchased today that you would say are preps would be the water. And it was basically just replacing some that had been used. You're 5:04 in the morning. Okay, Pakistan, where you're at, right. I'm usually thinking about the Philippines. You're about 2 hours different, so you're about 11 hours ahead. Well, good morning. Blessings to the people of Pakistan. Your part of the world over there has half the world's population. You know, between the countries over in your area, China, India, Pakistan, some of the other Southeast Asian countries, you got half the world's population in there. God bless all of you. You know. It's a lot of people eating a lot of food. You know, there are places where rice and fish, that's the diet. It is what it is. The Mesoamericans, corn, squash, beans, tomatoes, chocolate comes from the Americas. I don't know if you knew that. Chocolate comes from the Americas. I was looking at the news, and supposedly the leader of Russia has a $20 million contract out on him right now. The new head of the Wagner Group supposedly is issued a $20 million contract for Putin. That breaks my heart. You know, that breaks my heart. They had a big impeachment trial for Ken Paxton, the Attorney General in Texas. The Democrats and the rhinos were upset that I was just talking about you, Wayne. Thank you for coming in. The the rhinos and the Democrats were upset because one of the things he had done is he had directed the Texas Rangers to investigate some FBI agents that was felt that were doing some questionable stuff, and they didn't want to do that, you know. The Texas Rangers aren't what they used to be. Back in the day, if the governor had told the Texas Rangers to go and bring somebody in or to go deal with somebody, they would have done it. I'd love to see them issue a warrant for Biden here in Texas, one of the local, and send the Rangers to go get him. I guarantee you, the president's security team, they wouldn't. If you send a dozen Rangers over there, they're biting off more than they can chew as far as trying to protect the guy. At least the way the Rangers used to be. There were some Rangers in my family back in the day, and they didn't play. I've heard stories. Yep, one Ranger, one riot. Well, I've got some interesting family stories about the Rangers, about, you know, incidents that they got into. Uh, down to Sinton, Texas ways, there were some Hunt brothers, and one of my cousins, who was a Texas Ranger, was supposed to bring him in for something other. They had a warrant or something other for him, and he got into it with the Hunt. It was a hell of a fight. It was a hell of a fight. But that was a story that was told around the family, and this would have happened like 60 years ago, probably. A long time ago. But that was a story back in the day. Yeah, they're having an inquiry right now. They're opening an inquiry. They have been acquiring information. They're getting the goods. They're getting the goods. So now what they're saying is that as things pick up and they start releasing this information, and the news media have to say something about it, that they're predicting that because of health issues, he will not run for re-election. He won't run for re-election, and then you'll get whoever you get, and that way you won't get Kamala, because if he resigned, you'd get Kamala Harris. That would be the one that would basically replace him, and they don't want that, because if she becomes president, then they have to support her in the election. She'd run the election. No way she'd get elected. So that's some of the stuff that's going on right now. Jorax, thank you for coming in. Appreciate you. I shouted you out. Oh, just to let y'all know, I did a number of wall posts today. I shouted out probably 60 odd channels on my wall. I put information, pictures with prices, where to get it, stuff, where I got it, and I did a number of shout outs. And then I also put some images of home pages that people had. Old Fart, thank you for coming in. I also put some pictures of home pages, 7 or 8 channels that I posted, and I just haven't, when I wasn't working, I had time. I could do that every day. I could shout out 50, 60 channels. I could basically, whoever was in my live stream the day before, I could do a shout out on my community wall of every one of them. And I did that today for a number of channels that have been in this week. You got at least one. Not everybody, but a lot of them. So, my wife has been on my case about upgrading my boxes. The quality of my boxes, what I put in my boxes. 15 will probably have a few differences in it, you know. And I send out things to people. I mean, good evening, Little Lone Prepper. I send boxes to people that have nothing to do with my you know, that had nothing to do with my subscriber giveaway, just that I've sent stuff to people. And I communicate with people. I'm behind. I lied to a couple of people this week. I said I'd contact them this weekend, and I haven't contacted them. I apologize about that. And I need to. I'm old. I'm getting older, and I don't have the energy that I used to have. Wayne, as I was saying earlier, thank you for the likes. 6 watching. As I was saying earlier, I watched a video that Wayne released today. It's not a very long. It's like a 5-minute, less than 5 minutes, you know. And in it, he said some good stuff, you know. A shotgun is a good self-defense. Closer in, not super close in, but it could be super close. But I mean, you could have a little bit of range with it. Buckshot. And MHINE Mine Channel. Thank you for coming in. Good evening. I am sorry you are a channel I did not shout out today, but I did shout out quite a few channels. Cold War Prepper, Sub 100 and Wet. Okay, yep. Fishing Queen, thanks for coming in. Well, let me say, for those of you who served, I know Uncle Al served, and Lee served, Cold War Prepper, Wayne served, that I see in here. For those of you who served our country, thank you for your service. Fishing Queen, I believe, might be serving now. Thank you for your current service. Anybody who's a responder, there was an incident, I believe it was today, a sheriff's deputy in California was ambushed and killed. Henry Davis, let's see, Henry Davis, no subs. I will share you out in my stream, Henry Davis. I just put a link to Henry Davis's channel. Flame Fox, thank you for coming in. Appreciate it. Thank you, Fishing Queen. Have a nice day. Yes, pray for those who've given their lives in the service of their country. There are a lot of people that have given their ultimate sacrifice over the centuries for our country. And God bless them and God bless their families. God bless them. Young man, 30, 31, 32 years old, got another 50, 60 years to live, and his life was cut real short by, just trash. Uh, if you acquire a firearm and you do not know how to use it, I would look into going to a firing range in your area, or find a firing range in your area. Oftentimes there will be somebody that gives lessons. If you decide you want to try to get a carry permit, if you're someplace that that you can get a carry permit, you have to demonstrate that you know how to use your firearm that you're going to qualify with, and they can give you a basic rundown on how to safely load and unload. If it's semi-automatic, you're going to have to learn how to field strip it to clean it, and you're going to need a good cleaning kit. It's not brain surgery. It's not hard. So, bus stop, thank you for coming in. I've had about 15 channels come through here this evening that have identified themselves, 12 likes, 7 in the house right now. It's a slow Sunday evening. David, I need Huggies. You got a baby? Yeah, Huggies are what I used to use, my daughter. That's what we used to use my daughter, Huggies. The good stuff. Some folks like Pampers. We always used the Huggies. So, going over a few things again. The first thing you need to do is plan on having supplies, food, water, whatever you need for a week. Most natural disaster type things, a storm, a freeze, power outages, that type of stuff is going to last a few days. And David, I'm recording. Okay. Say hi to the camera. Hello, camera. All right. You want to have basic stuff for a week. So I would look at getting a couple of cases. Flame Fox is a child. I'd get a couple of the 24 packs of bottled water. That'll run you about $7. I would get some Dingy Moore or Hormel meals. They're about $2.25 a piece. If you want that to be one of your meals during the week, you need 7 at $2.25 a piece. I would get a couple of boxes of crackers, extra boxes of crackers. They're not that expensive. You're looking $2.25, $2.50 for a box of crackers, for a good sized box of crackers. You want to get perhaps oatmeal instant. You want to get some instant oatmeal. Aiden, A1K Gaming, thank you for coming in. Thank you for the like. Somebody signing in on iTunes in the other room just froze my screen. Sorry about that. So you want to get things that you would normally eat. Bread. You want to have a couple of loaves of bread. Keep bread. Bread lasts a little while, but you have to rotate it and you have to use it. Peanut butter, jelly, honey. Get cans of tuna. You can get Spam. You can get pulled pork, sardines. You can get a can of sardines for a little over $1. Salmon. You can get, you can get all sorts of canned goods, meats and such. Chicken, chunk chicken. You want rice. You want an ability to heat it. Walter Davis, thank you for coming in. You need to be able to boil water. When I do live streaming, I really don't pull out stuff to show people stuff, but I've got a number of different ways to get where I'm going. I've used it it burns with this. This is less than $9 for 4 of them, 4-pack. You get those like at Sam's. You can get them at Walmart. You can order the stuff. Thank you, Uncle Al. Not expensive. Not expensive. I need to pull out and do some videos, redo some videos on various things that I have prepper related. They're not expensive, but they're things that will allow you to cook and heat inside. I've got a big grill out back that runs on propane. I've got several of the 20-pound canisters that, you know, that would run it for a long time. You rotate them out, make sure you keep them full. You need, is there anyone on here that I haven't subscribed to? Bus stop, I don't know, son. Watch the replay and leave a nice comment. Thank you, Uncle Al. Yes. If you come in, if you don't get to see the video, or you come in for a couple of minutes, it's a busy day and you got time, if you can watch the replay or run it for me, I'd appreciate it. Football's just a distraction. I played it as a kid. There are more important things to do and learn as you get older. Yes, that is true. One of the pictures that I had posted on my community wall today was a book on preparedness. I paid like $13.50 at Sam's Club for this. Having books, it's got all sorts of good stuff in it. You know, chapters. Well, it's got all sorts of good stuff in it. You need to be able to have information that's not online. Therefore, having a good medical book, having a good book on how to do things, basic stuff, that's a good thing to have. You can buy magazines and here's one, Prepper Survival Guide. It's got articles in it. Are you ready? SDR radio tricks. Everyone needs a plan B. Danger lurks everywhere. When things go wrong. Crowd control. Batten down the hatches. Clock out. Reading the group landscape. A lot of this has to do with like the gray man. How to be the gray man. How to prepare and how to be low key and not draw attention to yourself. You know, if I was completely wanting to be low key, I wouldn't be doing these videos, because there are people who know I do that in this area, and I'm not saying that they would come and try to give me any grief. Most of them, I don't think any of them know exactly where I live. They might know I live in Victoria, but the idea, and there are people who know where I live and such. I try to avoid letting the neighbors and various people know, what I have or what they can expect if they decide to show up, I haven't watched a game since 2007. I don't watch football. I got disgusted when that quarterback started kneeling, taking a knee. Now it's like a form of protest. They take a knee during the national anthem, which is basically, disrespecting everybody who's ever served anything, disrespecting the flag, disrespecting any responders or anybody who've given their lives. I don't go for that. You get these women athletes, and they're always crying about how much they make. Well, nobody goes watch them play, but even if they did go and watch them play, It was like the women's soccer team. They played one of a professional women's soccer team. They played a group of teenage boys, 15-year-old boys, and they beat the hell out of them. Boys beat the hell out of them, and it's like the. You ever watched have you ever watched a women's basketball game, professional basketball game? Yeah, these are like 6 foot tall women. They can't even make a damn layup. They can't make a layup. They dribble down the end of it and they throw it up and it's like shit. They can't make a layup. I mean, they teach you that when you're 12 years old. You know, you're playing junior high basketball. You better be able to make a layup. You better be able to hit. Better be able to hit from the line. You know, shoot. It's Idaho Garden Girl. Thanks for coming in. Uh, back in the day. Thank you for coming in, Uncle Al. Good night, Uncle Al. If you're not subscribed to Uncle Al, you need to subscribe to Uncle Al. I mean, I can tell you just about any of these channels in here this evening. You should be subscribed to them. I played a lot of baseball growing up. Played a lot of baseball and basketball. I was a scout for a couple of years. Country Girl, thanks for coming in, Country Girl. Mike Kreschler, Mike, I watched that video, and then you dropped another one. That Lithuanian, that was a good meal. I like those 3 coffees. Then you use 2 of them for 1 cup. It's like, oh, it's sort of halfway defeats your purpose, but it makes it stronger. Well, I will tell you this, when I do get off this evening, 20 minutes from now or so, I'm having a breakfast taco. My wife made breakfast tacos for lunch right after church. Guru and Wahoo the Turtle, thank you for coming in. And my wife made these huge breakfast tacos, and I didn't eat mine. I saved it. So when I get through, I'm going to have a taco and coffee. Women's sports are just not as intense because they lack the testosterone and muscle mass that men have. I've never been interested in watching because they don't run as fast or hit as hard. Well, that's true, but I will say this, and this is something that we would train and we would say. A woman has more power in her legs than a man has in his arms when it comes to like martial arts. Women, they've got power in their legs. So, we train them to sparring and such, that they use their strength. So like they do a lot of kicking. They're not going to do as much damage with the punch, but I guarantee you they can knock the hell out of you with the kick. I've seen it happen. It's happened to me. Sister Winnie, thank you for coming in, Sister Winnie. And no, women are not as fast as men. They do not have the physical strength that men do. Every once in a while, you meet a mutant. There's a lady at school that likes to make fun of me, and she's 6'2", and she's about my height. And I tell her, well, I must be shrinking because I feel like you're taller than me now. It's like, whoa, you're a tall woman, And that's one of the things we tease about. Real nice lady. She's been very helpful to me. They've always been very helpful to me. They've been very helpful to me. Friday, Jocelyn, thank you. Jocelyn's Vlog, thank you for coming in. Appreciate you coming in. Gandalf, that you? Oh, crud. Is this a troll? Gandalf. That's a good one. At least I didn't say Santa. Gandalf. I'm sorry. Oh, Lord. Bus stop. They're making fun of me. Bus stop took care of that one. Good Lord Almighty. Oh God, that was a funny one. 12 in the house. Thank you. Thank you, bus stop. Oh Lord. Gandalf. That's a reference from Lord of the Rings. Gandalf. Oh Lord have mercy. No, that was funny. Okay, thank you, bus stop. That's got my eyes watering. I don't care how they are taken, bus, those are facts. Women with sense know that I'm not insulting them. Okay, bus stop. The joke was they asked if I was the person asked if I was Gandalf. Gandalf, is that you? Gandalf is a character from Lord of the Rings. He's the guy with the old beard and with the wizard, you know, with the hat and all that sort of stuff. That's Gandalf. Lord of the Rings, which was an excellent trilogy. Oh yes, a wizard from Lord of the Rings. The Memmies, thank you for coming in, the Memmies. How's it going? Everybody has strengths, and everybody's got areas that they can improve on. You know, my mother and father. My father got with my mom when she was like 17. She graduated from high school at 17. They were together for a couple of years and they got married. She was 19. He was like 29 when they got married. They were married for 35 years before my father passed on. He was 64 years old, had a brain tumor. They worked with their strength. My father would work, and after he really got established and made good money, my mother stayed home. He was able to make 3 salaries what he made compared to, you know, today. Made good money, and he would give my mom his paycheck, and she would pay the bills and save, and you know, and then he basically he had an expense account that he would receive. He had money for an expense account that would pay for his various whatever, and that was his spending cash. You know, he'd get his gas and food and everything. He had an expense account. You know, he could charge for meals and such, or he could get reimbursed for meals and such. You know, and just they had a great relationship. He'd get a bonus. Hell, he could buy a vehicle with his Christmas bonus. You know, back then. You know. Who's writing those comments about men like that? Those comments can be taken the wrong way. I will say this: my wife's a better shot with a Glock than I am. Small woman, 4'9", but and she's still into martial arts. She's actively into martial arts. She teaches. You know, small woman, but you don't want to get on her bad side. This message is held for review. View message. I don't know. I don't know who said something other inappropriate. I'm talking. and I'm not paying attention to, everybody needs to be, think about feelings and think about what you say, and, you know, when I say something that would be considered, controversial or whatever, I try to give an explanation for my reasoning, I try to soften it. I don't try to hurt anybody's feelings. The fly guy was timed out by a little lone prepper. I didn't even know there was a fly guy in here. Apparently, I've had a few trolls come in. I like that. Gandalf, is that you? That was a funny one. I'm still laughing about that one. So as I was saying, you need to have lots of edibles that you can prepare, whether you eat it room temperature or whether you heat it. Mr. Whistle, thank you for coming in, Mr. Whistle. You need to have food for you and your family. You need to make sure, if you have pets, you have plenty of food for your pets. You need to have food for, if you got chickens or goats or quail or whatever you have, rabbits, you need to make sure you've got, food for them. In the scriptures, back in the days, it talked about lean years, and it talked about, harvest, great years harvest, and there were occasions when they had to really save up, and they really had to store up for hard times, because they would have droughts, and they would have, locusts, and they had pestilence and such. So they had to be able to plan and save. And that's basically what prepping is. It's planning for problems before they happen. It's making sure that you have supplies when supplies aren't available at the store. FEMA's website just recently changed their recommendation from 3 days to 2 weeks of food storage. Yeah. FEMA knows. FEMA knows. Hurricane preparedness. This is in English and Spanish. And it talked about making an evacuation plan. Sign up for emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency supply kit. And it's a www.ready.gov/build a kit. And you need to plan for stuff. The Professor Plays Games. Thank you for coming in. The Professor Plays Games. Appreciate you coming in. Jonathan Hobazal. Is this who I think it is? Hey! Jonathan Hobazal. Thank you for coming in, friend. How's your dad doing? Let me link your channel. Let me give you a standard moderator so you can, if you care to, you can connect with some channels. Well, thank you for coming in. I contacted your dad, wished him a happy birthday here recently. Hope everybody's doing okay. Jonathan is the son of a former teacher and friend of mine who probably one of the richest men in Texas right now, because he buys and sells houses, and he's got a lot of rental property. Real nice young man. Married, has a son. Glad to see you're here, and tell your folks I said hello. Bus stop, I don't think he's somebody that's going to want to subscribe. He's basically just, I guess he's just touring on the internet and saw me and decided to, because he recognized me. But he's a real nice person. He's a good man. Used to be one of the upper crust at Walmart. Was on their market team. Okay, so again, things happen out on the East Coast. They had that hurricane, and it really messed up the power grid temporarily. There were people without power and water for several days. Florida, Georgia, South Carolina. At one point, there were 450,000 homes without power. 450,000 homes did not have power. And they had a hurricane out on the West Coast, Southern California, that caused them some trouble. Ryan Bremer, thanks for coming in. What's the I have been trolled today for some reason. I guess I really have made it. Well, I have the 1400 sub drawing video on Wednesday. It'll be a premiere at 7 p.m. It's like 18 minutes long. I put some stuff in there. There were 42 channels that qualified for the drawing. I had drawn the 1300 and the 1400 at the same time. And both of them oh Lord, let's check this one out. Mexican 445, no subscribers, no videos. I will put a link to Mexican 445 in the stream. Hillbilly's Creativity, thank you for coming in. So anyway, I am in the process of going through my preps, the pantry, the closets, checking dates on such, and I am trying to make sure that I got stuff rotated. Some of the stuff you buy, you don't use, and it's just sitting there. A lot of that freeze-dried stuff. Freeze-dry food will last 30 years or more. I got tons of it. I've tended to buy when I can get it a real good deal. I have bought stuff when they're trying to get rid of it, and they'll have it marked way down. And when you can do something like that, you buy what you can get your hands on, because that stuff is not cheap. Um, so, one of the things you need to think about is that if something does happen, and you do have preps, and you do have a plan, and you do have a stash or whatever, you need to make sure that everybody in your little group or your family, everybody knows what's going on, that they know what you have and where it's at, that if something happens to you, they know how to access it. I mean, things happen, you know. And you need to make sure that you've got contingencies, like a plan B. And the idea of like, well, we're going to bug out to the woods. So let's say you've got the ultimate bag, and you've got all sorts of good stuff in it, and you say you've got 3-4 days of food and a gallon of water with you. That's going to run out. If all of your stuff is at your house, Nicole Smith, hi. If all of your stuff is at your house or at your cabin or wherever you're at, I don't think I'd want to evacuate and leave my... I don't think I'd want to leave that behind and go off wherever with all my stuff at the house, unless it's an absolute emergency. I just put a link to Nicole Smith. Gray Man Prepping in the house. Thank you for coming in, Gil. Yeah, that's true. Trying to find a spot where you don't have somebody already out there camping. That I'm hearing that the illegals that have, just millions of illegals coming across the border, and they're coming in and they're just flooding everything. The Bud Files. Thanks for coming in, the Bud Files. Well, I've had quite a few people come in this evening, and I've had 22 likes. When you come in, and let me say this, when you come into somebody's live stream or you watch their video, leave a comment. Anytime you watch a video or you go into a live stream, leave a comment, leave a like, let them know what like number you are. If you're connecting with the new channel, you want to subscribe, you identify yourself as a new friend or a new subscriber, tell them what like number you are. Watch 5-6 minutes of their video, and do that for 2 videos, and then hopefully the connection will be made. They'll connect back with you. You'll both connect, and it will stick, and you will not suffer the purge, because the purge is real. Thank you for being here, Becoming Dangerous. So with that being said, James Huskins, you look like a doctor. Are you? No, I was an educator, and I'm an educator. I used to be a school principal. I've got 2 graduate degrees. I've got one in career education, what you'd call, what they used to call vocational education, and I've got one in management. And I was an educator for 30 years. I was a principal for 23 of those years. I retired about 5 years ago, and this year I came back as a teacher. I'm basically teaching a behavioral class with a couple of teacher assistants and the kids that tend to have problems. James, let me go to your channel. You have 95 subscribers, and I'm going to subscribe your channel, James. Thank you for coming in. And I'm going to link you on my community wall. James Huskins 2363. At some point when I get a chance, I'll do a shout out for you. Let me put you up here. Paste. I pasted you up there. And let me go ahead and give you a standard moderator. You're now a standard moderator on my channel. Standard moderator can be given, it can be taken away. So I will be back tomorrow. I will be back tomorrow at 7 p.m. I have a premiere, my 1400 subscriber giveaway will premiere 7 p.m. Wednesday. And I appreciate everybody's support. Everybody have a blessed evening. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and sign off.